It's Who's In, Who's Out on 97.3 ESPN FM, South Jersey's football station.
Who's in? Who's out? Let's start in the East. Is it a slam dunk, guys? Patriots still. Or did that one get more interesting?
Hasn't moved the needle yet for me. I mean, even Eric Rowe looked good, right?
Eric Rowe did look good.
You knew that reference was going to come out of my mouth.
I'm glad you brought that up.
That is, he did look good.
He shut down A.J. Green in the second half of that game.
No good for the Eagles.
You knew
all
it
of a
was
sudden,
gonna
all
happen.
pro.
I hate it when they moved him. I liked him a lot.
You didn't hate it when they moved Patrick Chung, and then all of a sudden he was good back
I didn't have
in
a
that
problem with
system.
Patrick Chung.
Patrick Chung
wasn't a
made
second round
Pro
pick.
Bowl with the Patriots. I got news for you, Pete. And yeah, they're a Julius Erving, Michael Jordan from the free throw line slam dunk. I don't care what the Buffalo Bills are doing.
5-1 New England, Buffalo 4-2, and they beat New England. Here's something interesting, guys. New England's a plus 58 on the year. Buffalo's a plus 59.
Buffalo makes it into my who's in and who's out at some point. I'm just going to say a win.
Oh, let me guess. They're winning the West.
No. Come on now. Jeez.
All right. Let's go to the North, where Cincinnati's lost 2 in a row. The Ravens have lost 3 in a row. The Browns have lost 6 in a row. And the Steelers lost to the Eagles and the Dolphins.
And Ben Roethlisberger.
This was a tough one to pick.
This
was it
is
tough for
a
you?
tough one, but I'm sticking with Pittsburgh. I think Le'Veon Bell carries him through the 2 weeks that I'm predicting Roethlisberger misses. They're going to rush him back out there.
I think he's going to miss more than 2. I don't know. I have no medical evidence to back that up other than the fact that I think that they're going to be in a little bit of trouble.
Just a little cleaning there, PJ.
I still wrote him in the slip. I based on how the Ravens look based
on
the
other
rest of the
teams
division.
more than anything else. Yeah, Ben, he's going to be back maybe after a week. He's Big Ben. He's going to be back.
Right. They'll rush
at the
him back
most
out
2
there.
weeks.
Or he'll rush himself back out there.
Yeah. And maybe that's not the best thing, but
Duct tape fixes everything.
Unless Cincinnati can figure it out, I don't think Baltimore's good enough. Obviously, Cleveland's a non-entity. Still got to stick with the Steelers, even though that was a terrible loss.
I had 3 teams
Miami
in that
team.
division at one point making
So did I.
All right, in the South, Houston comes back in probable fashion on Sunday night, and what a great Sunday night game.
Yeah, right.
The Texans down 2 scores to the Colts. They come back. They miss an extra point to send the game to overtime, and yet they still win the game. I got Houston. Every team in that division has given up more points than they've scored.
Yeah, I had Houston in last week. I have Houston in again this week, but I wouldn't send that to Canton for the magical of this is how a football game should
real
be
quick,
played.
can I interject something? Did Sean McDonough say last night during the game that because last night's crew was supposed to officiate the Hall of Fame game, they were making up for lost flags?
I missed that.
Somebody told me that he made that reference in the game last night.
I know he made a reference about the officiating.
Oh, I know that he heard.
Yeah.
I definitely heard that.
Maybe went the Gary Thorne route and had 1 or 2 on air. Who knows? But I wouldn't blame him for that game.
That's a great comment, by the way. That they were supposed to do the Hall of Fame game, so they had some extra flags they had to throw. Is tremendous.
Oh, man.
Houston, though, obviously is going to worst division in football. And Brock Osweiler stinks.
They're all 2 games apart, too.
I tweeted that during the game, and then some Texans fans, wait till it's over. No, he still stinks. He beat one of the worst teams in football. He played 3 minutes. They'll win it by default. Jadeveon Clowney is playing well. Whitney Merciless, that's what you got to center on. That's why Houston's the best team in that division. But as a whole, they're not a significant contender.
And here you go, Gill. I'll throw this on top of, since we're talking about the Texans, former Absegami coach, former Ocean City standout Doug Coleman, special teams coach on the Houston Texans. So there's a local guy that'll at least get to keep his job for another year if Houston wins the division.
Not if. How can they not win that division?
Win.
Tennessee, 3-3. Mariota's playing a lot better football.
Terrible. Slightly better than Osweiler, though. I give him that.
AFC West. This is an interesting division. San Diego has won a game in a row. Kansas City won in Oakland. Oakland still leads the division. And you got Denver on a 2-game skid. I'm going back to my preseason pick, the Kansas City Chiefs. That was an impressive win on Sunday. They're a very interesting spot, too. not quite Romo Prescott, but what are they going to do with Jamal Charles? Some people think that Spencer Ware might be the better piece on that team, but I think Kansas City, they were my pick back in the preseason. I should have stuck with them. What a loser I am for jumping the ship.
The Chiefs are so running back rich, they can just trade guys in the middle of the season. That's how many running backs they have on that roster, but I'm still not ready to elevate them to a West title yet, despite the Broncos' loss to the Chargers. That is a bad loss and a little bit of a slide for them. I've still got Denver. I want to see when Denver plays Oakland, which I believe is coming up in a couple of weeks, November 5th. That's when I think we'll have a real idea of who's going to win the West.
Yeah, I'm still sticking with Denver, mainly because of that defense. Just like here with Philadelphia, though, teams are starting to get film on the Broncos, and they're realizing quickly, hey, if Trevor Siemian's out there, you got to make him beat you. And that's going to be an issue. They have to start making their own adjustments. But for now, I take the Broncos default setting because of that defense.
All right, so we got 2 Broncos and a Kansas City in the West. Wild cards, my friends. I'm going Denver with the first wild card. And the Buffalo Bills.
No, I haven't been to.
Are getting in the playoffs. Looking at their schedule, I think they're going to get themselves to 9 or 10 wins. And I think in the AFC, the second wild card is 9 or 10 wins. So I'm going with the Buffalo Bills.
I've got Oakland and Buffalo. I still see Oakland as a possible playoff for a team and a wild card winner. And then Buffalo is now finally entered by who's in and who's out. You start winning games, and I guess Robert Woods said today we are running the same offense as when Greg Roman was here. Guys are locked in and playing fast during this win streak. So Robert Woods must know what he's talking about.
I'm going with Kansas City 1. And the second one for one more week, I'm going down with the ship. Cincinnati Bengals. At some point,
let me tell you, I almost made them the division winner.
At some point, they're going to get going in the right direction. Schedule's been very difficult.
Yes.
It's going to ease up. One more week. I give them one more week.
I'm with you there. I was half tempted to make them over Pittsburgh in the division, but Pittsburgh did beat them head-to-head. I could see, Pittsburgh still has 2-game separation, so even if they lose 2 games without Roethlisberger, now once Roethlisberger's status gets cleared up, I might make a change in that one. All right, let's go to the NFC, boys. On that other side, in the West, I got Seattle, but things got interesting last night with an Arizona convincing win. They finally had a convincing – I know they convincingly beat Tampa, but now they convincingly won 6 weeks into the year. That's a little bit different, but I like Arizona in the West.
Arizona, he says, I like Seattle in the West.
I mean Seattle.
I'm like, where did that come from, Arizona? Just because they won last night, that guy killed you in fantasy. You're pick. I got it, Seattle. So I'm with Seattle as well. 4-1 team, win over a Falcons team that I really like. In fact, I have the Falcons in my who's in, who's out. So I'm on the Seattle bandwagon.
Yeah, you have to be with Seattle right now. Arizona finally starting to get back going in the right direction. Still a good team. They'll be in the conversation, but too much of a bad start to recover against a good Seattle team.
Arizona, by the way, is now a plus 49, best in the division. So keep that in mind. South, Carolina, I don't know what the heck happened to that defense. I mean, Norman meant that much to them. I don't know about that. Something else is wrong there. I said if Atlanta won in Seattle, you got to start taking them serious. But I think they went toe-to-toe, played well enough, got a Bush League call against them.
Non-call.
And Atlanta, to me, proved that I've got to take last year I didn't take them serious. This year I got to take them more serious. Winning in Denver, playing toe-to-toe in Seattle. I go Atlanta in the South.
I have Atlanta in the South as well. Had them last week, and you're right, Mike. They may not have won the game. They may not have won the war, but they won some of the battles. You know what I mean? Matt Ryan looked decent. He did have one pick, but 335 for 3 touchdowns. That's the Matt Ryan we know, and Julio was involved in that call, as we know. We're non-call.
Well, the non-call, but he was also involved with the interception. That was a perfectly thrown football. He's got to catch it. That wasn't on Matt Ryan. It's a disappointing loss because they were in a position to win it.
Yeah.
Should have won it, and I'm not blaming the officials. That was a bad non-call, but again,
the officials are like Teflon. No one ever wants to blame them. You can't blame the officials.
Catch the football, Julio. Catch the football.
Why can't we blame them? They're human, too. They make mistakes.
No, it was a mistake. But if you catch the football, same with the Eagles against Detroit, if you don't fumble the football,
right.
You don't give them
We can blame players who fumble, but we can't blame officials who make bad mistakes.
You don't give them the opportunity to make
See the hypocrisy here, Peter?
It seems perfectly balanced.
All right. Minnesota wins the North.
It's a loser mentality.
It is. It's a nation of losers. Minnesota wins the North.
Minnesota wins the North.
Minnesota wins the North.
Hey, that's the easiest one we did.
Dallas wins the East. Dallas.
I've got Dallas in. I had Philadelphia in the last 2 weeks, but after what they've done the last 2 weeks.
My NFC Championship game, Dallas at Minnesota for the NFC title.
I leaned to that way yesterday. I had Dallas last week. I got Dallas again this week. And my wild cards are Green Bay, although that's a flimsy Green Bay.
Very
and
flimsy.
I'm going Arizona's back in.
So the Redskins didn't impress you that much.
Redskins' schedule coming up is B-R-U-T-A-L. Brutal.
I have the Redskins in, not just based on how they played against the Eagles, but the way that I think that they're starting to come together on offense as well and run the football. That's something we hadn't seen. I mean, I know they did it against the Eagles, but if they can get their offense going, that takes the pressure off of Cousins. They have to make home run balls. It eats up time of possession. There's a lot of good things going on with the Redskins right now.
I agree with you. I think Washington's just a good team. They're one of my wild card teams.
And I have Green Bay as the other, but it's as flimsy as Mike Gill's flimsy.
Their stretch is Bengals, Vikings, Packers, Cowboys, Cardinals, Eagles, Panthers. That's a stretch. That's a tough one.
Panthers aren't as good. But
I think the Panthers might play themselves at least back like New Orleans did a couple of years ago.
And the Panthers did 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Really,
they were 3-8.
Who's your other wild card team, Jeff?
My other wild card team is Arizona. I think we have to stop giving this deference to the Green Bay Packers. That's an average to below average football team. So I got Redskins, Arizona Cardinals.
Ooh, baby. All right, that's this week's Who's In and Who's Out.